Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is ExperiencePoints, and here we are back, continuing the road to Berlin. And oh, is it a long road. So, we are going to go the southern route, and we are going to look at Lower Dnieper. So, let's get straight to it. It's been a little while since I played this, so we're just going to have to remind myself of what this mission involved. But it was certainly a brilliant mission. Haha. Okay. This mission looks strangely familiar, actually, from previously, where you had to take this point here, and there's a city down here that you had to take. So yeah, a bit of a flashback there. It also reminds me of another mission where you had to take a point here, and what was it, here, and you were up here. So let's just have a look at this map and see what we got. We have a supply, two supplies on the road, a 6, a 3, and a 4, which is kind of useless. We have to take one turn, one objective in 2 turns, another in 4, and 2 in 5. Okay. So yeah, just see how it's done. So using our infantry, we just start to batter down some of these SS Panzergrenadier. I think it's important that infantry are used quite heavily here, because they're a good, a little bit of a cannon fodder, but you can use them quite well to soften up the lines and create a breach for your armor to spearhead through. It's a little bit of micromanagement here, because you're going to have to shift a lot of dudes around, a lot of infantry divisions, I should say. And you're just trying to wear him down until you can destroy him. So hopefully I can take out this other Panzergrenadier next. There we go. The red campaign, or I should say the red turn, actually has some quite significantly long missions in it. So we are going to find these videos do take a little bit. So there we go. I was able to disband that unit once because it was weak, and only because it was once. If you do it again, you're in trouble. So I obviously didn't have the strength there to attack the Panzergrenadier, but I could take out the infantry. And I do want to stop anything from blocking. My goal here was to cut off these two dangerous units, which I've done. So and then drive towards our objective so the enemy can't block it. Okay, down in the south now, we're just trying to push through and clear up these two tank units. I remember taking this in 2 turns is quite difficult, because there's quite a bit of resistance here. So we want to make sure that they can't sneak any troops in the adjacent hexagons. You also want to keep yourself covered here, because one of these guys is likely to cross here. And they'll take your supply. Okay, over here it's just a matter of pounding this to get a bridgehead, and to somehow make our way across, and then put our strongest unit, which was the artillery, across first. Now there is a bridge here, but it's going to be a little bit uncertain about how we're going to take that. But if we keep our threat along the entire river, it is unlikely that they'll be able to stop units from getting in. So yeah, build a bridge there so you can force your way through. Now this will always retreat, and I'll put a unit on the objective. Given that they've only got, let's see, 1 supply source, it makes it interesting. So in the long game, you could just run them out of supply. But this could be a little bit different. Now, because we built a bridge here, we also put a unit there. We created a threat, so they think we're going to pour across it. So putting their armor there was a good response to that. Okay, we're keeping our supply up here safe. And just got to weather this storm out. After 1 turn out of supply, they can attack in that one turn, and then after that they can't. So these will become as dangerous as kittens. Okay, so here we go. We have to take this objective down here at Stalino. So send in our biggest unit, which got absolutely smashed. Just quite frustratingly, there was a bad storm there as well. Okay, now I moved this unit down here and I didn't have the strength to attack it, so I brought this unit in, but with the T-34 and the 12 TAC, it's likely that I would have been able to cause suppression. And now we're just attacking with the other T-34 unit to create suppression, and we're able to destroy it with our weaker tank with only a 4-3. Okay, so we're just clearing out these guys. Okay, now we're trying to encircle so that we can cut off supply. I do believe you get 2 air runs or air attacks in this mission, but not every turn. So there's quite a difference between getting a special ability every turn and getting it only a certain amount of times. It's where you have to be way more strategic. Okay, now just trying to push our infantry south. Infantry are going to play a big part in actually taking these things because they can really soften up and suppress the enemy there. You notice there were 2 tanks here, and I pushed them up this way. It's very important you do that because your tank trying to push through here will just get gutted down. There's no point. Making sure our strongest units with the specialist steps are certainly in play as well, and they're able to push down as hard as they can. Okay. Given the supply range, it's not possible to be able to suppress this unit, but which is unfortunate. And then we're just being careful because I don't want to like overrun this guy and keep losing supply there. Okay, let's just connect our supply up in the south. See what we can do. Try to weaken up these guys. Unfortunately, they will be supplied by the road, which does have an 8 range. So the storm would have done significant troubles there. Okay, that was a big cost, but I felt it was best to keep threat up. And artillery are really good at trying to artillery can de-entrench units like engineers can, which is quite a useful feature. I don't know if it happens every time, but it certainly can happen. Okay, now we're just attempting to cross. Just watching yourself, because if the infantry can cut off your supply, they will. They're not too adventurous, but just enough. Okay. So here we go. So they're moving in to create a secondary line of defense in the north and south. And I'm glad he retreated. This is going to be costly. Now that tank up in the north area is going to be dead. I don't see him surviving. I was actually hoping that the entrenched unit in the objective would actually attack it to de-entrench. But that didn't happen. Okay, now I'm just trying to weaken up with a bit of suppression there. I figured that I'm actually able to cut off supply for it. That's why I did attack it in that turn. Now I'm going to bring a stronger unit in, and if you're able to attack it, even if it costs a bit, but suppress it, it makes it much easier for the next turn. And we have to take it on the next turn. Okay, now bring up our infantry, and once this unit's attacked, we're just going to push down south. Sometimes you need to make calculations and guesstimations, even assumptions about how much it takes to bring down a target. You can't just keep your forces all shelled around there, you have to keep moving. I mean, the game gives you the tools you have to win, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like it. For example, if you're the random number generator that gives you your outcomes in battle, yeah, is not with you, then you're in strife. But still, you can make 1 or 2 mistakes and still win. Okay, here we're just crossing in and flooding. I'm really happy they've grouped all their people in the south. It's a shame I couldn't actually block off supply. And here I'm just trying to soften up this guy because he's quite a big threat to my tank. Even though my tank is going to have a bonus from the city. Okay, and there we go. He's basically useless. So I'm just pushing him down south. Here, it's always a good idea to try to create space between you and the objective that you're defending. Even if he attacks, he's going to be, you know, unable to attack next turn, or even if he gets an overrun, he's going to be slightly suppressed, which is the goal. Okay, so a bit of cleanup there, and blocking the units in the north part there so they can't come down. And if we can do free damage, let's go for it. I wouldn't entrench in this position because it suppresses two of the units unless you have engineers, because engineers can entrench a unit without any suppression and in any weather. And we're just choosing to block here because our supplies are coming in both ways actually. Up this way and down. So even if they cut it off, we're okay. Okay, he moved his armor away and up to the north, which was good. He's not going to make a breakthrough to try to take the objective. I've had times when I've actually conquered something and it was a hard mission, and in the last objective, one turn away from being victory and they took a previous objective. It was a nightmare. Oh, so there we go in the north, using that last airstrike, using our best unit to take out that last healthy unit part, and now wailing on them with the artillery. And there we go. What really helped was I was able to suppress them, cut off supply so they couldn't overcome that suppression, and then I was able to grab that point. And certainly you'll need to use airstrikes for there because it's a very difficult target. Okay, now pushing our infantry forward and getting our tanks in position. Keep pushing. And see, that was so worth it. One part of suppression for the infantry, it's just, yeah, it's worth it. Because now I can kill it. And you say, why would you go here? Well, it's just to get rid of that zone of control. Even moving this unit up, just in case I have to attack like one bit that's suppressed. You never know. If there's not time to, because you can't reorder units, and considering we have to capture these next two objectives next turn, the better is to keep the unit in play. Okay. So he's trying to guard the crossroad, but we again cut off supplies. There we go, supplies are cut off. They'll still be attacked next turn, but they're not going to be nearly as lethal. I'm not really caring if they cross the river, but I'll put a unit there anyway. And building a bridge just for the point of it. You may engage your armor if you really need to up this way. You probably will put them out of turn though. Or sorry, out of supply. And you don't want to be too tempting. If the computer can't feel like it can take the objective, it won't. If you feel like it can, and there's a chance, it will keep hammering on you. Okay, he's getting rid of this little troublemaker down in the south. And getting rid of the bigger threat here. I'm happy to freely attack because I can move him up and replace another unit there. These guys are completely negated because they can't do anything. They're just going to continually get out of supply and continually get more suppressed. So there we go. I have quite a area of control. So there's no chance of this unit's actually breaking through. And there we go. You need 3 attacks to get near me to take it, and they just won't have it. Okay, get overrun. Ooh. And cut him off there. Well, that was to be expected. So he just wasted an attack on taking out one of these single infantry units instead of taking out something that could have been a bigger concern there. It's funny I didn't try to withdraw this unit earlier. So he's advised now weaken them up. Grab your units that have good specialist steps like the T-34 and hammer in. You can, and I did try to reorganize the specialist steps with the tanks and such, but it wasn't as successful. I didn't even have to attack with the tank. If you have any last objectives and you have air power, just use it. It can't hurt. Now we're just trying to throw anything we can at it, and luckily we can move that unit out of the way. And there we go. Wow. So that was a slightly bigger mission, but we got it done. So just going back from the start and having a quick look. So, what you need to do. Use your infantry to cause a spearhead through here. Then isolate these units off. Then pull your tanks and your armor through to the objective. Once that is done up here, you can then flood your infantry down this way to cut off here, but forcing towards this objective, and then to encircle this unit and hit it to suppress it as well. Use your airstrikes to create initial suppression, and then use your infantry to cut off and your armor to cut it off so that suppression sticks. Over here, use your infantry units to cut through and get rid of these guys, and then use your armor to penetrate through so your surroundings Stalino. Over here, bring these tanks up, and these tanks will help with this area here, so they come up here. Over here, if you wanted to create threat, destroy this unit with the surrounding units and stick him here, and then also put threatening units on the border here. And then there is a bridge that you can cross, but you always create threat, and then from there just keep going, cover yourself and push through. Well, this has been Experience Points, and I hope you've had a good experience watching this, and you've got some good tips on how to get this done. Cheers mate, and have a good one.